It's 9 a.m., the 26th of October 2025, over the South China Sea. Inside the first island chain, the calm horizon explodes with alarms. On the deck of USS Gerald R. Ford, red lights spin, boots pound steel. General quarters. The E-2D scope blooms with fast tracks fanning out from the northwest. Multiple groups, high and fast, classify probable inbound, the controller calls. A harsh tone cuts through. Ballistic profiles DF-21D arcing in from the mainland. The carrier turns into the wind. Deck crews lash down gear. On escorting destroyers, Aegis screens flash red and yellow. SM-6 cells armed with a heavy clunk. The sea looks flat, but the sky is a knife. Far above, vapor trails streak like chalk across blue. The captain grips the rail. This is not a drill. Radios fill with clipped voices. Hawkeye, Strike Ops, CIC, everyone counting seconds. The first interceptors fire, white spears leaping off the bow. Thunder rolls over the water. Now the question is simple. Do these missiles die in the sky, or does the ship die below it? The South China Sea isn't just a blue patch on a map, it's an artery. Tankers, box ships, and data cables tie this water to store shelves, gas pumps, and paychecks back home. Inside the first island chain, the US says ships and planes must move freely. China calls it its near seas, shield and springboard. Ford sails with her screen tight. Destroyers John, Finn, and Higgins up front. Aegis arrays watching high and low. A Virginia-class hunter, killer glides silent below. Overhead, the E-2D paints the sky, while F-35C orbit in pairs. On the radar edge, Chinese carriers Liaoning, Shandong, and Fujian cycle sorties, J-16 for strikes, H-6 Kelvin's bombers for reach. Fujian's catapults fling jets fast and heavy. More planes mean more pressure sooner. Across reclaimed outposts, Fiery Cross, Subi, Mischief runways, fuel and HQ-9 batteries harden the approach. Oath radar peers past the horizon. Cues come from aircraft, satellites, and even fishing boats with antennas. It's the classic A2 divided by AD web. Deny entry, raise costs, make carriers think twice. DF-21D and DF-26 sit inland, mobile and masked, built to push the US line back until the Pacific feels locked. Washington answers with a kill web. CEC and Link 16 fuse the group, letting one ship fire with another's eyes. P-8 sweep for subs. SM-6 and ESSM layer the defense. LRASM and Tomahawks wait for the call. The goal is simple: keep lanes open, keep allies steady, keep deterrence credible. Both sides know the stakes: trade, alliances, and who writes the rules from Taiwan to the Luzon Strait. If you were on that bridge radar screaming, pilots breathing calm in your headset, whose move earns your trust? Press 1 if you'd hold the line with the US Navy, or 9 if you believe China's A2 divided by AD can lock the Pacific and tip the balance. 9:14 a.m. The first intercepts streak upward, white trails cutting across the gray haze. SM-6 twist into the sky. Guided by Aegis radar, each launch shakes the Ford's deck. Splash 1, a controller calls, but the cheers fade fast. More inbound icons bloom red across the screen. The first wave was a probe. The next is the real strike. Chinese radar networks pulse from the Paracel chain, feeding targeting data to DF-26 launchers hundreds of miles inland. On Fujian's flight deck, steam billows as J-16 roar skyward, carrying YJ-12 anti-ship missiles slung beneath their wings. Each missile can hit from 250 miles away, fast, low, hard to kill. Above, an H-6 Kelvin's bomber arcs out over the sea, releasing decoys to confuse American radars. Ford's strike group braces. The destroyer John Finn locks onto 6 incoming contacts. Weapons free. 2 SM-6 leap off the rails, turning night into noon. Further out, the USS Higgins launches ESSM, shorter range but faster. The air fills with glowing threads, white smoke carving sharp spirals. CIC calls it in. Multiple leakers, bearing 097, closing fast. The crew switches to close. In defense mode, CIWS guns stand ready, barrels spinning at 4,500 rounds per minute. In the Combat Information Center, the air feels electric. Voices overlap range, bearing impact times. One sailor mutters a prayer under his breath. A sudden thud shakes the ship, near miss. The radar feed flickers, then stabilizes. Interceptor hit confirmed, 3 down, 2 still hot. The captain grips the comms. Keep your spacing. Maintain line. Feed data through CEC. We fight as one. Across the horizon, bright blooms mark the deaths of inbound missiles. Each kill buys seconds. But new trails appear over the mainland DF-21D relaunch. Different vectors. The Chinese batteries are shifting tactics, spreading trajectories to confuse tracking. Above, US F-35C dive low to hunt the launch sources, guided by AWACS and satellites. The battle stretches from sea to sky to space. For the sailors below, it's no longer a drill, it's survival by math and instinct. Every radar ping, every launch authorization could mean life or death. The Pacific, wide and endless, suddenly feels very small. 9:27 a.m. The sky turns into a storm of contrails and flame. The second wave comes lower, faster, tighter. Dozens of YJ-12s skim the sea, flying just 15 feet above the waves. Ford's escorts pivot hard. Deploy chaff, roll decoys. Metal strips burst into the air, glittering like rain. For every missile tracked, another slips off radar for a heartbeat, one heartbeat too long. USS Higgins takes the brunt. 2 YJ-12s streak past, closing at Mach 3. CIWS guns roar, thousands of rounds carve glowing lines through the mist. One missile breaks apart, the other detonates close. The blast rocks the ship, tearing radar panels, but she stays afloat. Damage control rushes in, sealing bulkheads, flooding fire lines. Smoke trails off her stern like a wound bleeding light. John Finn shifts formation to cover the carrier's flank. Ford, this is Finn shielding you. The destroyer's launchers spit ESSMs in rapid fire, the ship itself banking as if alive. Above, F-35C dive through clouds to pick off enemy bombers before they can fire again. Missiles bloom and vanish in the haze, dots of fury on a vast blue grid. On the Chinese side, the coordination tightens. Data links fuse radar from islands, planes, and ships into one massive web. From Fujian, a fresh wave of J-16 forms up. Their target, Ford herself. Over the radio, American pilots hear the chatter encrypted. Fast, confident. This is no reckless rush. It's precision warfare, and both sides know it. Inside Ford's CIC, tension snaps like wire. More inbound northwest vector, mixed altitude. The captain's voice cuts through. Stand firm, no overkill, no panic. We fight smart. The ship turns 3 degrees, bringing her CIWS and CRAM batteries into line. Tracers streak again, each one a second bought for survival. A cheer erupts, another missile splashed. The battle edge holds barely. Across the task force, every sailor feels the pressure build. The Pacific hums with metal and fear. Each order, each countermeasure, writes the next second of history. And for those watching from shore, the question lingers. Which side adapts faster when chaos hits? Press 1 if you think the U.S. fleet's discipline will hold. Or 9 if China's precision will finally break through. 9:41 a.m. Just when the radar picture starts to clear, new contacts appear too close, too slow. Surface signatures unmanned. The operator's voice cracks. Dozens of small fast boats surge from the south, swarming low and erratic. They aren't fishing boats. They're explosive drones packed with warheads, riding waves at 50 knots. China's using sea skimmers to overwhelm missile defenses. Ford's sensors snap to short-range mode. The carrier can't shoot everything, her escorts take point. John Finn and Higgins open up, CIWS thundering, cannons hammering the waterline. Each explosion throws up a geyser of foam, but the swarm keeps coming. The Pacific seems to boil, filled with darting white wakes and tracer fire. One drone slips through, detonating near Higgins's bow. Shrapnel rakes her hull. Alarms wail again. Above, F-35C drop flares and strafe the sea, trying to thin the mass. Smoke and salt fill the air. The surface churns with chaos. "We're fighting the ocean itself," someone says, half in disbelief. The realization hits hard. While the US braced for missiles, China shifted tactics, trading range for saturation. Dozens of cheap suicide drones forcing billion-dollar defenses to the limit. It's asymmetric warfare, brutal and efficient. Ford veers hard to starboard, wake curling white behind her. Every defense mount fires at once, barrels glowing red. Sparks rain across the deck as fragments whistle overhead. The bridge lights flicker. Damaged teams brace below, sealing compartments, preparing for shock. Each passing second is a gamble, the balance between precision and chaos, between strategy and survival. For the first time, the mighty carrier feels hunted. The ocean, once her shield, now mirrors the enemy fast, endless, unstoppable. 9:56 a.m. The sea and sky blur into a single battlefield. Smoke rolls low, turning daylight into dusk. Ford's combat systems hum at maximum load. Every sensor, radar, and missile battery locked into a rhythm of survival. Incoming! Bearing 0825 contacts, mixed altitude. The captain's voice cuts steady through chaos. "CRAM, engage!" Twin launchers erupt, spitting fire and smoke. Missiles leap, curve, and vanish into the haze. 2 impacts light the sky, 1 drone destroyed, another crippled. But 3 YJ-12 break through, their signatures flaring bright. F-35Cs slash across the horizon, diving low to intercept. One missile detonates early, fooled by a decoy flare. Another dives too deep, vanishing into the sea. The last keeps coming straight for Ford. CIWS, track and fire. The gun roars, a torrent of tungsten cutting the air. The missile disintegrates 100 yards out, shockwaves slamming across the deck. Sailors ducking under the blast. For a moment, everything freezes but the pounding of hearts. On the horizon, the Fujian's air wing begins to pull back. Their fuel's running low, their strike packages spent. USAWACS confirms it. The attack wave is breaking apart. Ford's radar clears one echo, then another, fading into the void. A final contact flickers, then dies. The plotter draws a straight, blessedly empty line across the scope, a breath finally exhaled. Cheers rise in CIC, raw and shaky. "We held the line," someone whispers. The captain doesn't smile. He knows this was just the opening round. Below decks, medics treat burns, broken ribs, concussions. Damage control patches holes, reroutes power. Higgins limps, her deck scorched, but she's still afloat. John Finn's crew loads new missiles, hands moving on muscle memory alone. The Pacific calms again, but the silence feels heavy like a storm holding its breath. In that fragile quiet, everyone understands. Both sides saw each other's limits today. Technology met willpower, precision met chaos, and while Ford still stands, so does Fujian. The next round won't wait long. If you were here looking at that scorched horizon, knowing both fleets are regrouping, who do you think learns faster for the rematch? Press 1 if you believe the US. Navy will adapt and strike back stronger, or 9 if China's next wave will rewrite the balance at sea. 10:37 a.m. The smoke drifts west with the wind. The battle is over, but the sea still glows with debris, oil slicks, scorched foam, fragments of metal spinning in the waves. On Ford's deck, sailors move slowly, eyes hollow from adrenaline. The carrier survived, but it feels different now, less invincible, more human. Reports flood in. Higgins damaged but stable. John Finn operational. Minor fires contained. Across the horizon, the Fujian strike group pulls back toward Hainan. Satellite feeds show recovery crews hauling crippled J-16 onto their decks. Both sides count losses in silence. In Washington, analysts talk of deterrence. In Beijing, state media calls it a test of national will. Both are right. This was more than a clash of steel. It was a preview of how the next decade might unfold. Hypersonics, drones, networks, and resolve. Each side saw what the other can endure. Allies take notes. Japan shifts destroyers south. Australia offers P-8 patrols. The Philippines opens runways and piers. India watches the choke points. Insurers reprice risk, shippers reroute schedules, and the old word convoy returns to boardrooms. Markets wobble, and families track ships on phone screens like weather maps. As night falls over the South China Sea, Ford's crew watches the horizon glow faintly red from burning fuel. The captain stands on the bridge, silent. "We held today," he says quietly. "Tomorrow's another fight." The radio hums with static and exhaustion. Somewhere beyond the dark water, another fleet is already moving. Below, a petty officer chalks 3 small marks on a bulkhead. Missiles stopped, ship saved, friends alive. This is what modern war looks like, not victory or defeat, but survival measured in minutes. The ocean doesn't take sides, it only remembers who's still afloat when the smoke clears. If you followed the battle this far, you already know what's coming next. Press 1 if you believe the US will learn, adapt, and lead the next Fighter 9 if you think China's determination will reshape the Pacific before anyone can stop it. It's 9:15 on the 22nd of October 2025. Near Scarborough Shoal, the USS Nimitz cuts through calm gray water when radar screens flare to life. Multiple fast-moving contacts unidentified. Closing fast. Alarms echo through the corridors. "General quarters! All hands to stations!" Sailors sprint to their posts, boots clanging on steel decks. Outside, jets roar overhead. Chinese fighters streaking low across the horizon, their shadows slicing over the carrier's flight deck. On the radar, 2 Type 52D destroyers lock their course straight toward the Nimitz. The bridge falls silent for a heartbeat. Then the captain's voice breaks through. "Maintain course. Eyes up. Let's see what they want." A lookout calls out buoys in the water, forming a strange line ahead. The ocean isn't open anymore. It's being fenced in, one warning at a time. No one breathes easy. Every second could decide whether this stays a standoff or turns into a spark that sets the whole sea on fire. In the South China Sea, trade lanes snake through waters that feed cities thousands of miles away. Every tanker, every container ship keeps daily life running back home. The USS Nimitz patrols these routes not for show, but to make sure no one closes them. For decades, this mission was routine. But today, near Scarborough Shoal, nothing feels routine. China claims this area as its inherent territory. The US calls it international waters. Between those two sentences lies the tension of an entire ocean. On this morning, the Nimitz is the Line 1 ship standing between open sea and controlled space. Its escorts, destroyers, and supply vessels form a protective ring. Radar spinning, fighters on deck armed but silent. One wrong move, one misunderstood signal, and the whole region could ignite. For the sailors aboard, politics fade away. It's about keeping the line open for freedom of navigation, and for everyone who depends on it. Back home, families scroll the headlines, unaware how close this morning comes to crisis. Then, over the radio, a warning in Mandarin. "U.S. vessel, you are entering Chinese waters. Turn away immediately." The voice is calm, but the message is sharp as steel. The captain watches the sea ahead, those floating buoys marking a claim the U.S. cannot accept. 2 destroyers split formation, flanking the Nimitz at distance. Fighter jets orbit overhead, drawing invisible borders in the sky. The U.S. response is steady. Operating in international waters under international law. Words rehearsed 1,000 times, but now every syllable carries weight. Who's right? Who's risking more? If you were in command, would you stand your ground or turn away? Tap 1 for stand firm, or 9 for pull back. The crew doesn't get to vote, but you can. 9:23 a.m. The calm is over. The Type 52D destroyers advance, cutting white lines through the gray sea. Their hull numbers glint in the sun, no attempt to hide. On the Nimitz, radar operators call out bearings, distances, speeds. The bridge turns into a command hive, voices overlapping. Contact bearing 041, now 7,000 yards. The captain orders a course change just 5 degrees starboard, a subtle signal that they're alert but not retreating. "Launch alert aircraft," he says. Within minutes, 2 F-18 seconds roar off the deck, wings banking east. The jet exhaust shimmers across the carrier's bow, the sound echoing like thunder trapped under steel. Across the water, a Chinese destroyer responds in kind. 2 J-16 fighters lift from a nearby airstrip, streaking toward the area. The skies fill with movement. Each side claims defensive operation, but every pass feels like a test. In the Combat Information Center, the air is thick with tension. Surface radars ping, sonar tracks nearby submarines. A petty officer mutters, "They're painting us." Electronic countermeasure screens flicker. The Nimitz is being radar locked. One flick of a finger on the other side could turn this standoff into chaos. "Stand by Sea Sparrow batteries," the weapons officer says quietly. His hand hovers near the key switch, but it never turns. They're ready, but orders are clear. No provocation. The mission is to stand presence, not start war. Then, a sudden flash, one of the Chinese destroyers fires a flare, bright orange smoke curling over the waves. It's not a missile, but a message. "Turn back, now." The captain's jaw tightens. "Maintain position," he replies, eyes fixed on the horizon. "Record everything." The radio crackles again. "U.S. vessel, you are trespassing." The same line, repeated but louder. The ocean feels smaller now, trapped between pride and protocol. The tension becomes physical, every heartbeat echoing through steel bulkheads. In the ready rooms, pilots sit strapped in, waiting for the word that everyone hopes will never come. Above them, the sun breaks through thin clouds, lighting the ships below like pieces on a chessboard, motionless, but ready to strike. Above the endless water, two nations' resolve hangs by a thread. One flare away from history-changing course. 9:36 a.m. The sea looks calm, but every radar pulse tells a different story. The Chinese destroyers have tightened formation, now less than 5,000 yards from the Nimitz. Their gun turrets are trained forward, elevation low. It's not firing position, but it's close enough to feel it. "Maintain distance," the captain says, voice even. "We don't blink first." The carrier adjusts speed, sliding slowly east, keeping parallel with the Chinese ships. On deck, flight crews move fast, double-checking launch cables and fuel lines. Nobody speaks louder than a whisper. A ripple spreads across the communications net. One of the destroyers has launched small drones unarmed, but circling low over the carrier group. Cameras, spotlights, pressure. Every lens feels like a threat. The U.S. escorts move in tighter, their CIWS turrets rotating, tracking. The invisible line between peace and escalation starts to blur. Then, interference hits the radios. Static, then silence. For 30 long seconds, every channel goes dead. No orders, no updates. The crew stares at flickering screens, waiting for signal to return. A single second of silence at sea can feel like forever. When the system snaps back, everyone exhales at once. The Chinese ships now move to block the carrier's heading, setting a floating line of buoys just like before. It's a soft barrier, but it means stop. The Nimitz slows, turns 10 degrees, testing the line. A drone swoops low across the bow, its camera flashing. The message is clear. "We control this space. Prepare to maneuver," the XO says. Engines spool up, metal trembling underfoot. One wrong move and this will be more than a dance. Below deck, sailors check damage control stations, just in case. Above, pilots grip their helmets, waiting for the next order. Every person aboard knows this moment defines the mission. Outside, the sea darkens as clouds roll in rain on the horizon, thunder echoing like distant gunfire. Even nature feels like it's holding its breath, waiting to see who flinches first. On the bridge, the captain stands silent. One decision, and an entire region shifts. Would you hold the line under this pressure, or yield to avoid war? Tap 1 if you'd stand firm, or 9 if you'd pull back. Either choice changes everything. 9:48 a.m. The situation shifts. A new radar return appears fast, small, and skimming the waves. It's not a jet, not a drone. The operator frowns. Surface contact. Low altitude, high speed, no ID. Within seconds, 3 more dots blink into view. They're coming from the south below the radar horizon. The Chinese destroyers don't move, but their comms traffic spikes. On the Nimitz, screens flash with new data streams, objects moving under 50 feet above sea level, weaving like fish. The captain leans forward. "That's no patrol! That's a test!" The unknown craft close fast unmanned surface vessels, the newest gray zone weapon. They carry no visible weapons, just antenna masts and cameras. But their pattern says otherwise. One cuts directly across the carrier's bow, leaving a foamy trail like a dare. "Interceptors ready?" the 10-0 asks. "Affirmative." The nearest destroyer launches a Seahawk helicopter. It hovers low, scanning. "No missiles detected," the pilot reports, but these boats are transmitting something. Suddenly, the carrier's navigation system flickers. Coordinates drift by a few degrees. "GPS interference," the tech officer calls out. "They're jamming us." The bridge hums with unease. This isn't just intimidation anymore. It's electronic warfare in real time. "Shut external comms," the captain orders. "Switch to local.net. Keep our heading locked." Every sailor now feels the twist. They're no longer just watched. They're being tested from the inside. The small vessels continue circling, cutting closer with each pass. One bumps a buoy, shattering the calm like breaking glass. The message is clear. The rules are changing. 9:56 a.m. The Nimitz's combat deck hums with tension. The swarm of small vessels draws even closer, 500 yards, then 300. Each wave sends spray over the bow. The bridge is silent except for the buzz of electronics. Every sensor is watching, every gun aligned. "Target distance 250 yards, the radar chief calls. No response to hails. The captain stands steady. Fire control tracking only. His voice carries no emotion, just calculation. Suddenly, one of the unmanned boats veers hard to port straight toward the carrier's path. A heartbeat later, the Seahawk above locks its camera on it. "Object accelerating!" the pilot yells. "Possible collision course." "Hold!" the captain snaps. The destroyer hopper on the carrier's flank fires a single flare, white smoke bursting in the air like lightning. The rogue vessel keeps coming. Another second, another. Then the carrier's portside CIWS rotates. Tracking, the barrels glowing. The captain's jaw tightens. Warning burst. Fire. The deck erupts in a deafening roar as the gun spits tracers into the sea ahead. The rounds stitch a fiery line across the water, slicing meters from the drone's bow. The small craft veers sharply away, engine whining, spray exploding behind it. The rest scatter, turning south. For a moment, only echoes remain, the sea rippling where bullets struck seconds before. "Cease fire," the captain says, his tone soft, but everyone hears the weight of it. The bridge crew exhales together. They know how close they came one more second. And this could have been the first shot of a new war. Across the horizon, the Chinese destroyers begin to withdraw, their radar beams dimming. The Nimitz holds course, scarred only by nerves and seawater. Over the comms, a single sentence cuts through. "Mission complete. Maintain freedom of navigation." The crew doesn't cheer. They just stand, watching the horizon fade. The ocean feels calm again, but it's the kind of calm that follows a warning, not peace. Would you have fired that warning shot, or held your fire and risked it all? Tap 1 if you'd pull the trigger, or 9 if you'd trust restraint. The choice defines what kind of commander you'd be. 10:12 a.m. The sea finally settles. The last echoes of gunfire fade into the horizon, replaced by the low hum of the Nimitz's engines pushing through calm water once again. But the silence feels heavier than the noise before. Below deck, sailors sit in the mess hall, still wearing vests and helmets, staring at half-eaten meals. Nobody talks. They all replay the same 10 seconds, the warning burst, the flare, the turn. Some feel pride, others doubt. The captain knows both are valid. In the Combat Information Center, logs and recordings are sealed. Analysts already call it a non-lethal engagement, a diplomatic term for something that almost wasn't. Every report, every clip will be studied frame by frame. Somewhere in Beijing and Washington, planners are doing the same. For the US, the message is clear. Presence still matters. Freedom of navigation isn't just a slogan, it's a promise enforced ship by ship, crew by crew. but it's also costly. Each encounter like this pushes nerves to the limit, testing discipline as much as firepower. For China, it's a different kind of victory. No shots fired, yet they force the world to watch. A soft barrier here, a new tactic there, and suddenly, the map tilts ever so slightly in their favor. The South China Sea is no longer quiet water. It's a chessboard where every move leaves ripples. The Nimitz continues east, toward open ocean. Waves slap gently against the hull, like a reminder that peace at sea is always temporary. The captain looks out across the horizon, where sunlight cuts through clouds. "We held the line today," he says quietly, "but tomorrow, someone else might test it again." The camera pulls back gray ships against a vast blue world, both sides claiming calm, both knowing it won't last. In this standoff, who truly won, the one who stood firm, or the one who made the world flinch? Tap 1 if you believe strength kept the peace, or 9 if strategy changed the balance. Either way, the next wave is already building.